We are going to solve quadratics starting with example 2. We first identify A. A is the leading coefficient, which is 3. Identify B, which is 7. And then C is a constant. The quadratic formula is given as x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now you just have to substitute. So we have x equals b, in this case it's 7, so it's negative 7, plus or minus square root. I like to use parentheses, get in the habit of using parentheses. 7 squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2 times 3. The expression highlighted in green is called a discriminant. If it is equal to 0, there's only one solution. If it's less than 0, it's a complex number. If it's greater than 0, there's two solutions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and work it out. So I have x equals negative 7 plus or minus square root. So you have 7 squared, in this case it's 49, minus 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 times 3 is 6. So you have x equals negative 7 plus or minus square root of 37, and this is all divided by 6, and you're going to go ahead and leave it in this form. There are times that you have to write the problem in standard form. So I'm going to rewrite this. So you have negative x squared. In this case, the 4x has to go to the left. So it's minus 4x plus 3 equals 0. Identify the a. The a is a negative 1 value, negative 1. B is equal to negative 4. And then our constant is going to be 3. I will always provide you the quadratic formulas. So the value of b is negative 4. And you notice there is a negative already there, so it's going to be 4. Plus or minus square roots. And then we're going to go ahead and evaluate the discriminant. So we have negative 4 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times c, which is 3, divided by 2 times negative 1. So we have the square root of 28. 28 is our determinant, or discriminant. So we have square root of 4 times the square root of 7. What I'm doing here is called simplifying. So the square root of 28 has the factors of 4 and 7. I know that 4, you can get the square root of 4, which is 2. So you actually have 2 square root of 7. So let me rewrite this. We have 4 divided by negative 2, which is negative 2, plus or minus. Now the square root of 28 is the same thing as saying 2 square root of 7. And remember, we're dividing by negative 2. So we have x equals negative 2 plus or minus square root of 7. There are times when you have a fraction. I'm going to give you an example of that. So we have 5z squared minus 2z. I'm already going to move the 1/5 to the left side. You notice that you do have a fraction there. What you probably want to do is divide by 5. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 0 times 5, which gives you 0. And then here you apply the distributive property. So 5 times 5 is 25, z squared minus 10z minus 5 times 1 is 5 divided by 5 is 1 equals 0. The next step is to identify your a, b, and c values. So a is 25, b is negative 10, and then c is equal to negative 1. Like I said before, you will always be provided the quadratic formula. And that's what I'm writing down. I'm writing down the quadratic formula. The next step is just to substitute. So you have negative b, in this case it's 10, plus or minus square root. You would want to use a parentheses, because if you use a calculator, negative 10 squared is not going to give you the correct answer. So you have 4 times a, which is 25, times c, which is 1, divided by 2 times a, in this case it's going to be 2 times 25. So you have x equals 10 plus or minus square root, and 2 times 25 is 50. So this is what I got when I went ahead and did the work. You have negative 10 to the second power, which gives us 100. Negative 4 times 25 gives us 100, so that's going to be 0. So square root of 0 is 0, and you're left with 1/5. There's only one answer, 1/5.